Have you ever looked up at a lonely tower in the middle of the wilderness and wondered what it would be like to spend a night there? After hearing this story, you probably never will again. My name is Ethan. This happened 3 summers ago when I was 26. At the time, I worked seasonal jobs around Montana. During the summer, I spent most of my days hiking trails, maintaining campsites, and helping tourists who got themselves lost. One afternoon, my supervisor told me about an old Firewatch tower deep in the mountains. The tower had been retired years earlier. Nobody used it anymore. Most people didn't even know it existed. Apparently, a few hikers had reported strange lights coming from the tower at night. The weird part? The tower had no electricity. At first, everyone assumed it was teenagers sneaking up there. But no footprints were ever found. And no vehicles had been seen anywhere near the access road. Honestly, I didn't think much of it, until my supervisor offered me $50 to spend a night there and figure out what was going on. I accepted immediately. It sounded like the easiest money I'd ever make. The following Saturday, I packed a sleeping bag, flashlight, food, and enough water for a day. The hike took almost 4 hours. The trail got steeper the farther I climbed. Eventually, the trees began thinning out. And then I saw it, the tower, standing alone against the sky. It looked ancient. The wood was faded gray. Several windows were cracked. The entire structure swayed slightly whenever the wind picked up. The place looked abandoned, completely abandoned. I climbed the stairs. Each step groaned beneath my boots. By the time I reached the top, the sun was already beginning to set. The view was incredible. Miles of forest stretched in every direction. No roads, no houses, nothing, just endless wilderness. I spent the next hour exploring. The inside of the tower was mostly empty. There was an old desk, a rusted filing cabinet, a broken chair, and a visitor logbook. The logbook immediately caught my attention. Most entries were decades old. Tourists, forest rangers, hikers, normal stuff. But near the back, I found something strange. The last entry had been written only 3 weeks earlier. The message simply said, "Don't answer the knocking." That was it. No name, no explanation, just 4 words. I laughed. It sounded like something someone wrote as a joke. Still, the message stayed in my mind. As darkness fell, the forest became unbelievably quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. Around 10 p.m., I ate dinner and settled into my sleeping bag. Everything seemed normal for a while. Then I noticed something. A light, far below the tower. At first I thought it was another hiker, but something wasn't right. The light wasn't moving along the trail. It was moving through dense forest, places where nobody could walk. The light drifted between trees, slowly, almost floating. I watched it for nearly 20 minutes. Then it disappeared, just vanished. I told myself it was probably someone camping. Maybe another flashlight. Maybe I was just tired. Around midnight, I finally fell asleep. And that's when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks, coming from underneath the tower. My eyes opened instantly. For a few seconds I stayed completely still, listening. Nothing. Silence. Then again. Knock, knock, knock. This time louder. The sound echoed through the wooden structure. My first thought was an animal. Maybe a bear rubbing against one of the support beams. But the knocks were too perfect. Too deliberate. They sounded human. I grabbed my flashlight and looked out the windows. Nothing. Just darkness. The knocking stopped. I waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Nothing happened. Eventually, I convinced myself it was the wind. I lay back down, and then I heard footsteps. Slow footsteps. Climbing the stairs. Creak, creak, creak. My stomach dropped, because there was only one staircase, and anyone climbing it would eventually reach me. The footsteps continued. Slow. Steady. Getting closer. I pointed my flashlight toward the door. Waiting. The steps stopped. Right outside. I could hear someone breathing. Not heavily. Just enough to know they were there. Standing on the other side. Watching. Waiting. I shouted, "Hello?" No response. The breathing continued. Then suddenly, 3 knocks, directly on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Every hair on my body stood up. I remembered the message in the logbook. Don't answer the knocking. For some reason, I listened. I stayed completely silent. The knocking came again, this time harder. Knock, knock, knock. The entire door rattled, then silence. A full minute passed, maybe 2. I slowly stepped toward the window overlooking the stairs and looked down. Nobody. The staircase was empty, completely empty. There was nowhere to hide. No ledges, no platforms, no trees nearby. Whoever had been standing outside should have been visible, but there was nothing there. My heart was pounding. I locked the door anyway, even though the lock barely worked. The rest of the night was torture. Every sound made me jump. Every gust of wind felt wrong. Then around 3 a.m., something happened that I still can't explain. A light appeared inside the forest. The same light I'd seen earlier, except now it wasn't alone. There were 3 of them. 3 floating lights moving between the trees, slowly circling the tower. The lights never came closer. They just moved, round and round, like they were searching for something, or someone. I watched them for nearly an hour. Then, one by one, they disappeared. By sunrise, I was exhausted. I packed my gear immediately. I didn't care about the $50 anymore. I just wanted to leave. Before heading down the stairs, I decided to sign the visitor logbook. I opened to the final page and froze because there was a new message written beneath the warning I'd read the day before. Fresh handwriting, fresh ink. It said, "Good job not answering." I stared at those words for nearly 30 seconds. I hadn't written them, and nobody else had entered the tower. At least nobody I saw. I slammed the book shut, grabbed my backpack, and practically ran down the mountain. To this day, I have no explanation for what happened. Maybe somebody was playing a prank. Maybe there was another trail I never found. Maybe. But one thing still bothers me. The ranger station eventually checked the logbook. The handwriting from the final message matched the handwriting of the warning above it, meaning whoever wrote both messages already knew what was going to happen, and somehow knew I had stayed silent. The tower was permanently closed 6 months later. Officially, because of structural concerns. Unofficially, nobody wanted to spend another night there. And after what happened to me, I don't blame them.